Hey guys, welcome back to Skill Building for Handstands. I'm Gabby, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking hands-wrist grip and begin to explore the concept of counterbalance. Yoga and bodyweight exercises have us placing a lot of weight on our hands and wrists, so it's really important to show these areas a lot of love before practice, in practice, or even after if you need. These are a few ways out of many to stretch and warm them up. So the first one is wake and shake. Shake them up, loosen up. I do this anytime my wrists need to decompress or if I need to wake them up right before using them. This is also a really good time to wake up your feet with the same motions plus a little pointing and flexing, maybe even rolling over the toes to stretch the top of the foot. Open, close, compress. Sit back on your heels and extend your arms out in front of you with palms to the floor. Tilt your hands back, fingers up, then down, back and forth, over and over again. Curl your fingers into fists and begin to open and close over and over. Keep pumping and raise your arms overhead, open, close, open, close. Then interlace your fingers and flip palms to the sky, taking a few breaths here. Release and grab a hold of your opposite wrist with some compression, a tighter squeeze, and begin to roll your fist to one side and then the other. Switching arms, circling one way and circling the other. Self-massage. Forearm massages are amazing. These muscles can get very tight and can impede your wrist mobility. Show them a bit of attention if you need before practice, but especially after a long session. Wrist flips. Begin in tabletop. Make circles over your wrists, starting small, and then allowing those circles to grow even bigger. Now flip your hands so the palms are up and the fingers are pointing back towards you. Maybe you even open and close your fists a bit. Palms stay up, and now fingertips face each other. And here you can add in a little push-up if you feel like it. Next, palms are down on the ground, fingers to the sides. Maybe you find some movement. Then rotate your hands so fingers are facing you, palms are still down, and for an extra stretch, lean back towards your heels. Activate your grip. Grip the mat and think about drawing your fingertips towards each other, paying extra attention to the index and the thumb pulling together. Spider fingers, or your C grip, is something that works wonders for handstands, arm balances, any poses that require you to hop, float, lift, and really grip the floor for balance. Get cozy with this grip and maybe add it to your mental checklist. Make your hands something that you pay attention to. The points of contact for your C grip are your fingertips, the circle around your palm, the action of rooting through your knuckles, and really drawing energetically your fingertips towards the heel of your palm. I feel like it's important for me to mention that there really is no right or wrong, so what I'm suggesting to you is just something to try and see if it helps you. This hand position provides strength and stability and allows us to access those counterbalance movements, this back and forth action. Think about when you wobble on your feet in a pose. You move your weight around from toes to heel, back and forth, side to side, adjusting yourself to stay upright. You're using counterbalance to keep you in one place. The same thing happens in poses or movements where our hands have to act as the roots. We maintain balance and stability by using a good grip, counterbalance, and making micro adjustments, which is a huge thing upside down. So I think about counterbalance as using opposites to keep you centered. Leaning too much to the right, shift yourself to the left. Leaning too far to the front, shift yourself back. On your hands, it's going back and forth between the fingertips and the palms, side to side, making these small movements and small adjustments to stay centered. Even when your hands don't need that level of grip, Still think about keeping them active and turned on, ready to spider and grip, ready to make those micro adjustments, rooting you for those moments. If you don't mind listening a little bit longer, I'm going to ramble a little bit more on hand position and different poses. Depending on the pose or the movement, it's going to depend on how you set up your hands. In a down dog, our hands are flat, fingers long and spread out, rooted, active. Our wrists are an extension, but they're not stacked, so you really don't need to fully spider grip here. But when you shift forward into plank, or you hop towards the front of your mat, you really want to think about adjusting your grip with your movement. Begin to spider finger, drawing the fingertips towards the heel of the palm to stabilize your transition. Your hands should transition as you move. In an arm balance or handstand, we're placing all of our weight solely on our hands, putting our wrists into even more extension. They're now stacked over our hands. In these types of poses, a C grip could really help you out with stability and balance. With high planks, pressing up into a handstand, any movement that puts our wrists into overextension, meaning that our shoulders are now going slightly past our hands, you really do need that C grip and super active fingertips. Think about or watch somebody pressing up, how the body leans forward, shoulders going past the hands, weight significantly on the fingertips. So how do you get yourself from leaning to stacked? You press into your fingertips using that idea of counterbalancing to get you straight. Same idea for if you can't seem to get your hips over your shoulders or you keep dropping them. Lean slightly into the palm and the heel of your hand and push yourself back. Our hands are rarely still if we're balancing on them. It's almost constantly and subtly going from fingers to the heel of your hand, back and forth, back and forth. To recap, if you're leaning towards your fingers, push into your fingertips to shift yourself back. If you're leaning towards the heel of your hand, push into that spot to shift and recenter. Think about pushing into the part of your hand you're leaning towards. Or maybe you think opposites. Going one way, push yourself to the other side. All right, so we talked hands, wrist, and grip, and we began to explore the idea of counterbalance in our poses and movements, and that's something that we're just going to build upon throughout the rest of the series until we get to our handstand. We'll see you next time. Come here, my big Bubba. Come here, my big Bubba bear, my big Papa bear.